The second half of this is using equations to solve identities. This kind of a thing here you maybe have already tried, and maybe you can already do this. I kind of gave you the first step here, and then these are supposed to be some hints for you to work through this. I do want you to try and see if you can get this. You're going to change it to an equation that looks something more like what you've done before. The ones that you've done before are quadratics, right? If you're stuck with this, think about what you would have done if it said 3m minus 2 over m minus 1. Because you would have done something like that in grade 10, right? Grade 10 you would have solved equations like that, and you would have done exactly like what it says over here, multiplied through by m. All right? And then you'd have, if you multiply through by m, you get 3m squared minus 2 minus m. And you can rearrange it and make it into a quadratic and then proceed as you normally do. Notice here, one of the biggest problems people have is 2 times secant is 2 divided by cosine. The most common wrong thing there is this, right? Is 2 times secant, they write 1 over 2 cos. The 2 doesn't go on the bottom. The 2 stays up here, okay? The 2 stays on top. You don't do the reciprocal of the 2. You do the reciprocal of secant. So those are things to notice. I'll let you finish that one for yourself sometime. The other things involved here, and again, the answers are down there for you to check. It's better if you work through and do that. This type of equation here, the way you're going to know that, I mean, right now you know that it's something you have to use identities because it says, and it's in the section that says use identities. The way you're going to know is that if you have a 2x and an x, you can't just start solving it. I think some of you are making mistakes like saying, well, can I factor out the 2 and write it as 2 sine x? You cannot do that, right? Those are not equal. You can't take anything out of the angle. There's no factoring it. It's not like if you have 2x squared y plus 4xy squared. It isn't that there's a common factor you can take out. You can't take something out of this 2 here. What you can do, though, is replace this with an identity, right? If you put an identity in here, what can you change that to? 2 sine x? What identity do you have for sine of 2x? Sine of 2x is equal to what? 2 sine cos, right? 2 sine x cos x. So you can replace that with this whole thing and keep the rest the same, and then solve it as you might after that. After that, you're going to have to try, now you can factor, right? Because now they have a common factor. Now this thing has, sorry, not sine. What's the common factor of that? Cosine, right? So you can factor out a cosine and work on what's left here. And proceed as you would have before. The only thing that's new here is making this change right here, replacing sine of 2x with 2 sine cos. You could solve this by graphing, this kind of a thing here. You have to look at things and realize if there's a sine of 2x or cos of 2x that you might be able to use an identity. All right? Other than that, you should go through here and do these examples and make sure you can get to the answers properly here. Okay, and make sure you understand why the answers are what they are. Make sure you understand why these are exact value answers, and so on. Okay? Can you work on this tutorial right now? Even if maybe you're having other things that are unfinished.